Howdy, friends. Steve DePoe here with the Rose Realty team with this week's Real Estate Live for North Texas. Today, home selling records. So maybe you remember this clip from the movie For the Love of the Game, starring Kevin Costner and Kelly Preston by Universal Pictures.
You don't lose much, do you?
I lose. I lost. About 134 times.
Oh.
That's over like 15 years, okay?
Oh. Oh, you count them?
We count everything in baseball. I mean, that's all we do.
So just like in baseball, the real estate industry tracks all kinds of records. You can find out any kind of information you want. For example, you can find out that the Rose Realty team is the #1 real estate team in Ropes and Ranch. We're also in the top 1% in DFW. So they track that stuff, they track records, they track information, and we're going to discuss some of those things right now that occurred over the last couple of years or so. So first of all, do you ever wonder? I mean, I do myself because I'm a kind of a data-driven guy. Do you ever wonder what's happened in North Texas in the last 2 to 3 years? That's been kind of wild and kind of crazy. And what has that done to maybe records that have been out there or data that's been out there? And how has that affected the real estate market over the last couple of years? So the supply, okay. So there were just about 1.38 million homes sold, whether for sale in April. Okay, that's down year over year from last year by 23%. Okay, so sellers are kind of pulling back a little. There's two things that are going on. Sellers are pulling back a little bit. Okay, and things are going more off market. So more and more people are coming to us, for example, and saying, I want you to sell our house. I don't want it in MLS. I don't want a lot of advertising. I want to sell it. I want no muss, no fuss. Do it. And so they're not necessarily counted in the houses that are for sale, but at the end of the day, we have a sale and we have a transaction. But again, houses that are for sale have decreased by 23% year over year. The average house stays on market in March and April for 15 days. Wow, that's down a lot. Even the year before, where we had this frenzy. Okay, the year before that was COVID. But the average days on market being 15. Wow, I mean that's barely enough for people to realize it's available and to get clients out of there and take a look at it. For how much? Okay, houses sold on average went roughly 56% of houses went above list price, and that's compared to the year earlier where we were just about 29.6 or 30%. And so the houses going above list price, pretty darn near doubled. Okay, and why is that? That's because fewer houses are on the market, and people want those houses. They have to either, remember in the Metroplex, we get like 100,000 people a year. Okay, and so and new construction can't possibly keep up with demand, and so so when there is a house on the market, people are bidding on it. They want the house, and they're bidding over asking price in order to get that house. Okay, now that's kind of tamped down a little bit because of inflation, because of interest rates, and the general state of the economy. But it's still a strong seller's market out there right now. Who bought? Okay, well, around 18.2% of the houses that sold went to investors in 2000, the third quarter rather of 2001. That's up from 11.2 the year before. So investors are buying. So these investors are doing a combination of two things, right? Number one, they're buying and they're improving and flipping the house and selling it again, or they're buying and they're renting it out for passive income, for passive income type of approach. Not such a bad idea. And if you want more information on investing, give us a call. We can help you out with that. But investors right now, they've increased by what does that sounds like, about 75% or so over the previous year. Next week, finding your next home. Now I've done this a couple of times. This is always a kind of like a really good topic. People ask me this all the time. But next week, finding your next home. This is Steve DePoe with the Rose Realty team. I'm going to bounce.